Good morning. Hello, my friends. I'm going to ask everyone to take a seat, please, and welcome you here. I am Linda Gianelli Pratt, and thank you, Karen. Um, I am Linda Gianelli Pratt, and I feel like Stephen Colbert right now, and I will be serving as your worship associate this morning. I am very happy to be here with our guest speaker and my friend, Debbie Hecht. Those of you participating via the internet, if you have your own chalice or candle, have it handy so that we can all light our chalices together at the appropriate time. And for those of you here, please silence your cell phones and any other electronic equipment you may have. If anyone needs a listening device, please raise your hand and hold it up so that the usher can reach you with the device. We are the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of San Diego. We continue to build our inclusive community, to welcome new people and support longtime members. We encourage everyone to reach deep inside your heart to cultivate compassion, and then take that 16-inch journey to your mind and cultivate wisdom. As a UU, we strive to be open so that we can truly listen and learn from other faith traditions, from science, and from universal human values. We need to remember that we are part of the power and the sacredness of a covenant based on unconditional love. So if you are visiting our fellowship, we would like to personally welcome you if you are online or here. And if you are here, please stand if you are comfortable and briefly tell us your name and where you are from. Raise your hand and I will select you. Hello, people in the back. Hi. It's so nice to see you. Thank you very much, Erica. And did you say Lucy? Lucy, what a beautiful name. Thank you. Raise your hand. Yes. Oh my gosh, nice to meet you, Luna, and welcome to our area. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Joan? Joan, it's very nice to meet you. Thank you. Anybody else? Raise your hand. Yes, in the back. Travis and Brittany. And when are you expecting? Oh my gosh, bless you. Bless you. Nice to see you. Good luck. Good luck. We'll all be there to help you. Not a problem. All right. Who else? All right. Thank you all for being here. New people. Oops, sorry, I'm still talking. New people and old. I got confused what I was doing. All right. I have some announcements, and the first one is pretty important. All of them are important, but the first one is going to impact us, and we're so glad our visitors are here today. The National Unitarian Universalist Association has continued to consult with public health professionals and has very recently announced updated, strongly recommended guidelines for UU congregations in light of the changing COVID situation. And with the UUFSD board meeting, they voted yesterday to act in accordance with these new guidelines. Most of these guidelines are tied to the specific transmission risk in a particular county per the COVID Act Now data, which is a website you can check on, COVID Act Now. There will be an email blast coming out this week explaining the new guidelines, but currently, I'm very sad to say, and with a very heavy heart, the transmission rate in San Diego County is very high, and in areas where transmission rate is such, very high or severe, the recommendation is to suspend all large in-person gatherings, both indoor and outdoor. And I'm so sorry to have to break that news. Accordingly, this will be our last in-person service until San Diego County has a lower transmission risk level. And starting next week, we will return to a Zoom-only format. Additionally, I need to ask everyone to wear your mask at all times during today's service. I'm so sorry. This is very sad news for us. As you know, the second announcement, there is a California governor recall election going on now, and all ballots must be received by September 14th. There are many ballot drop-off locations, or you can just put it in the mail, or you can drive to the County Registrar of Voters office in Kearney Mesa. But as always, your vote matters, and the election outcome has huge consequences. And I did not tell you how to vote, so in case anyone's tracking that. We are an active congregation, and there are many ways to keep informed. Our newsletter, which you can sign up for at our website, the bulletin board, and the weekly order of service, which you have either in your hand if you're visiting, or you can find that in your email. If you wish to know more about this UU Fellowship, our website address is very simple, UUFSD.org. There you can find groups to join, opportunities to share your time and expertise, many opportunities, by the way, and contact information. After this service, everyone is invited to catch up with each other with masks on, or meet new people with masks on the patio where coffee and other refreshments may be available, I think. Our Pastoral Care Committee is here for you. Just email pastoralcare@uufsd.org, providing your contact, and if you are comfortable, you can state what your needs are, which will help us respond to you. And today, I'm very happy to say that our pastoral care person is Kevin. You notice him with the stole, and if you need to speak with him with your mask on, he will be available on the patio. Just trying to keep people safe. Public health is my background. All right. As we come together to reaffirm our commitment to this community and to our UU principles that guide us in living a moral and ethical life, I ask you to reaffirm that everyone stand in body or spirit and use a minute or two to say hello with your mask on to those around you, and let us give an especially warm welcome to our visitors and newcomers, and I will ring the bell to call you back to your seats. I know. Where is the bell? School bell? Oh, bless your heart. Thank you, Scott. Scott, thank you for bringing this. Thank you. I was wondering how I was going to get it. Thank you. Yeah, no, you are the person.
Belly of the bull.
Yeah.
Is that thing on?
Yes.
Aha. I can do this. How do I do this?
Or you could light something if you want. But you got it.
Maybe I'll just...
No, don't do that one. Because you won't be able to light
Oh.
that. You can light this if you want. Because that way you can get in. Thank you so much. It's good to see all of you. Welcome. All right, we begin the service with the hymn One Fine Day, which is a recording that we will listen to by our UUFSD band. Please enjoy it.
Can we join in?
If you know the words. Yes.
Saw the wondering eye inside my heart, shouts and battle cries from every part. I can see those tears, everyone is true. When the door appears, I'll go right through. Stand in liquid light like everyone. Built my life on rhymes to carry on, and it gives me hope to see you there. The things I used to know, that one fine day. Small dark room where I will wait. Face to face I find, I contemplate. Even though a man is made of clay, everything can change at one fine day. One fine day. Then before my eyes is standing still, I beheld it there, a city on a hill. I complete my task one by one. I remove my mask when I am done. Then a peace of mind fell over me. In these troubled times, I still can see. We can use the stars to guide the way. It is not that far, that one fine day. One fine day. One fine day. One fine
The Unitarian, the Unitarian Universalist flaming chalice represents our shared history, hope, and commitment to the principles of our faith that join us together. Those of you at home now are invited to join us in lighting a chalice or a candle, holding it up to your camera so that we can share our light together. Blessed is the fire that burns deep in the soul. It is the flame of the human spirit touched into being by the mystery of life. It is the fire of reason, the fire of compassion, the fire of community, the fire of justice, the fire of faith. It is the fire of love burning deep in the human heart, the divine glow in every life. As a UU congregation, we are guided by the principles of our faith, including the 8th principle, which calls us to take action to dismantle racism in ourselves and our institutions in order to build a diverse, multiracial, beloved community. To that end, we take a moment to acknowledge the land on which we stand. We honor the 18 tribes and bands of the Kumeyaay and Luiseño nations here in San Diego County, and we acknowledge our complicity as a nation in the near genocide of these nations. Strive to dismantle the colonial systems that act as barriers to justice for Indigenous people both in the present and in the future. Awareness and growth, not guilt or shame, bring the First Nations to the forefront to honor them. We bring our hope and vision each day to inspire us to be that kind of congregation of open minds, helping hands, and loving hearts. Amen. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in our centering hymn, Spirit of Life, presented by our lovely Elisa. The words to both are in your order of service. May love be the spirit of this congregation. May the quest for truth be its sacrament and service be its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our covenant. You may be seated. Oops.
Joys and sorrows?
So our joys and sorrows, concerns, and transitions are shared in a book before the service that you can write in before the service. And I hope you saw this book at the greeters table. Obviously, this will not be used quite so much until we meet again, but for those online, you're welcome to type in your joys, sorrows, transitions into the chat. For those who wish to offer a silent joy, sorrow, concern, or transition, they may come up to symbolically drop a stone in the water so that your joys will spread wide in the water and your sorrows will be diminished and shared with all of us. I will read the only one that's in here for today, and that is we are praying for those who are trapped in Afghanistan and hoping that everyone can get out safely. You may come by. Just put it in. I already did the general one. So our new Sunday food collection recipient is the Helping Our Neighbors Project, and that is designating the weekly Sunday food collection to the Boys and Girls Club of San Diego in Solana Beach Preschool. We are asking for specific snack items such as packages of cheese and crackers, small peeled onions in a little package, fruits, granola bars, pretzels, goldfish crackers. I'm really hungry now. Juices. Thank you for your generosity. And again, this is a new recipient of our food collection drive. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Allison, who will provide for any of the young children who want to come down.
Oh my God, I'm in front of the microphone again, everybody, watch out! What's up? Hey guys! Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. Come on down if you want to. You don't have to. Everything's optional here. Sort of. Okay. Did you know, and this is really important, did you know that adults and even your parents make mistakes every day? He's like looking at me like, no, they don't. What are you talking about? I, especially me, make mistakes every day. In fact, I try and wake up and make my first mistake right away so I can just get it out of the way. Does anybody here worry about making a mistake sometimes? I'm the only one? Oh, no. Okay, good. Good. Just checking. Because failure is sort of combined with mistakes, right? Yeah. And a lot of people are afraid of failing. And instead of maybe look at it as like failing is bad, maybe we can reframe our thinking to failure gets us to new places. And sometimes mistakes get us to really wonderful places. I know you're looking at me like, no, it doesn't. Yes, it does, I promise. So, guess what? Did you know that chocolate chip cookies were a mistake? They were. They were invented and they were a mistake. She ran out of baking chocolate. Who was it? It was Ruth Graves, Wakefield. They ran out of baking chocolate and they were making cookies and they were like, oh my gosh. And so they chopped up a bunch of like sweet, semi-sweet chocolate and they put it in thinking it was going to melt. And when they baked it and it didn't, they were like, oh my gosh. And they just served it anyway. And everybody like bit into it and they were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, right? Because what's life without fresh baked chocolate chip cookies? That I don't make, but I'm sure have eaten. What else? Did you know that silly putty was a mistake? They were trying to come up with rubber. It was during the World War II, and they were trying to come up with rubber. And they made silly putty. And then after the war, they packaged it as like the best thing ever because you could put it on top of the comics and you could pour it out, and the comics would be right there on your silly putty. Am I the only one who did that? Yeah, I think. Right? And stretch it. Yes, and even put it in your mouth and like pretend it's gum because your mom won't let you have it. What? Gum? Okay, maybe that was just me. And popsicles? Popsicles were a mistake too. See, all of these mistakes are super happy accident. Penicillin. Oh, one more. Play-Doh. Do you guys play with Play-Doh? Sorta, Luca? No? Yeah, Play-Doh at school, right? Play-Doh was a mistake. I know! What? He said, they found out, they were trying, people actually burned coal instead of like gaslight. Have you ever see when we light our chalice, it's a little flame with a clear liquid? They used to burn coal, which emits this huge black cloud of like, and it would get all the wallpaper dirty. So Play-Doh was invented to clean the wallpaper. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes.
On a popsicle box, I just saw a.
You just read it on a popsicle box? Yeah. I love being back in person, by the way. You saw the story on the back of the box? Good. I love it. I love it. Okay, so now as we reframe our making mistakes, right, we can think about how failure makes us strong, makes us resilient. Failure helps us learn what doesn't work, right? Failure and mistakes actually help build your character. That's why I've got so much. And failure helps you develop problem-solving skills, which people can't really see. Because if you make enough mistakes like I do, you get pretty good at problem-solving really quickly, and you can just pass it off as like, that was not a mistake. But don't get fooled. Like, see yourself 2020. And then every failure is like a stepping stone to success. So I passed out this superhero. It's genderless, right? To some people, and some people have it. And it's the things I can't control outside of the superhero, and it's the things I can control inside the superhero. Can we control the weather? But if it's raining on our birthday party, do we feel like we made a mistake? No? Good. Sometimes I do. I'm like, oh no, it's raining and I planned all this stuff and I'm so terrible because I shouldn't have planned it for that day. But that's silly, right? Yeah. He lets me know it's silly. All right. So, this was my first children's sharing back, and I was just getting used to not doing books, and I will get used to doing books again. Yay! Yay for books. And it is time now to sing all of the children out to the playground. Let's go play. Thank you.
The church is the community of ourselves. It's the energy and resources that we provide. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our lives within it. So the ushers are now passing out the collection baskets. Thank you very much for your generosity.
Thank you, Katie. Lovely. So we're going to continue on this morning. It's so wonderful to see everybody, and I just am so sad that this is going to be the last time. So no pressure. We better make it good. So, so to set the stage for my talk this morning, I wanted to read to you Fear by Khalil Gibran. They say before entering the sea, a river trembles with fear. She looks back at the way that she has traveled from the peaks, the mountains, and the long winding road, which crosses forests and villages, and sees in front of her such a vast ocean that entering it doesn't seem anything else than having to disappear forever. But there's no other way. The river can't go back. No one can go back. Going back is impossible in existence. The river needs to take the risk and to enter the ocean. It's only when entering the ocean that fear will disappear, because it's only then that the river will know it's not about to disappear into the ocean, but to become the ocean. So we're going to do a short meditation, and you're going to play that, Katie? So let's all sing that together. Well, good morning. My name is Debbie Hecht. Thank you for showing up this morning in the midst of a huge COVID surge and being here and lending your great energy to this wonderful place that we call our spiritual home. My name is Debbie Hecht. The name of the sermon today is "The Longest Journey I Have Ever Taken is the 16 inches from my head to my heart." It's about my introspective journey that I explored to become a more fully functioning human being and to be able to feel a range of emotions and understand these reactions. The conflict, heartfelt relationships, and lessons along the way have been life-changing for me. They've cracked open my heart and resulted in some comical irony. My path has broadened and narrowed at the same time. I've developed a razor edge and an achy, breaky heart. My relationships have deepened and I have become happier as a result. I discovered some large stumbling blocks along the way, erroneous assumptions and unstated expectations, and flat-out mistakes. I have tried to eliminate the fear-based assumptions. I tried to be honest and upfront about my wants and needs with those close to me. It's all about learning to celebrate your authentic self, warts and all. I agree with Brene Brown, who said, "Authenticity is a collection of choices that we have to make every single day. It's about the choice to show up and be real, the choice to be honest, the choice to let our true selves be seen." My first baby step toward becoming more of a feeling being instead of analyzing everything came with the hormones of pregnancy. Being pregnant cracked open my heart. I remember getting all choked up at Hallmark commercials at Christmas. I remember laughing at myself and figuring it would pass with giving birth. It never did go away. I cry at music, I cry at films, I just cry. Have you ever looked at your loved ones and just melted into loving them so much? Your heart feels so full. I've said to my son so many times, "You have no idea how much I love you." He would answer, roll his eyes, and say, "Oh, Mom, you have to say that. You're the mom." I knew I was having a boy. I thought about all the things people my age struggled with. Most of the struggles were around making decisions. I was determined to provide Matt with experience in making decisions. As a young child, I would offer him two options that were acceptable to me, and then he chose me. Yes, granted, quite a bit manipulative, but that worked great because he learned to make decisions, and since it was his choice, there was buy-in. It was easy for my follow-through. Matt was always the kid on the playground who helped if someone got hurt. He made sure everyone was included on a team. Now he's a PhD computer scientist out of UCLA and very much in his head. He makes me look like an amateur. He is a master debater. He and I would debate issues for fun until we realized that our arguments were making the rest of the family pretty uncomfortable. I flew to LA 5 days after the birth of my granddaughter in 2011. The door opened, and there's my big, goofy, Gumby-bodied, sleep-deprived 27-year-old kid with this teeny little baby on his arm, and the biggest hug ever. "Mom, Mom, I get what you were saying. I get how much you love me." He was in tears, and of course I started to cry. My heart cracked open further. It was his heartfelt journey and pushed me farther along from my head to my heart. I remember looking into my granddaughter's eyes and seeing back to generations that came before and forward to the generations to come. It was like looking at two mirrors facing each other, where the images go on and on to infinity. The grand continuity of life. My heart cracked open further. The other thing I saw was that men had the hardest time expressing their emotions and asking for what they needed. For years, I thought men didn't have emotions because my father had always been so stoic. I wanted to make sure that Matt could identify his emotions and talk about them. As a young child, I would play games by making faces and having him guess what I was feeling. As he got older and could read, we would do charts with different emotions, and he would say what they were feeling. Kind of a variation on the smiley face, but with frowns or wide eyes. A precursor to emoticons. The result is he can read faces pretty well and is very empathetic and compassionate. But if it's all about balance, he may be too empathetic. Plus, he's a fixer like me. Neither of us like to see people we love in pain, so we want to fix it. Sometimes this can be seen as disrespectful. Balance is a hard thing to achieve. I wanted to change. I needed change. I wanted the good, solid stuff of a close relationship. I was very pragmatic about this. Wry grin, right? My first steps on the longest journey were when I decided that every time I would start analyzing my thoughts or try to think my way out of a problem, I would ask myself, how do I feel about this? And let the answer bubble up. I learned to be comfortable with the discomfort of being vulnerable. So I was very uncomfortable for a long time until I read The Buddhist Way, Non-Attachment and Observing, and attended some of the wonderful classes here with Christy and others. Non-attachment is the ability to detach yourself from the things that control or affect you in a way that does not serve your well-being. Like what Allison was saying, things you can control and things you can't. Then you can observe without judgment. I could observe myself and try to understand my feelings until I could recognize them better. An out-of-body experience. There were several ways I was tripping over my own feet. I was pretty good at recognizing my erroneous assumptions and asking for what I wanted and needed, but something was still out of whack. As a member of the oh-so-perfect Hecht family, I was knocking myself out to achieve perfectionism and worried about what people thought. Was being perfect the measuring stick of success? I remember thinking for the first 18 years of my life that I was a complete slob. Well, next to brother, mother, and father, I was. They had everything neatly folded and put away. My brother had his pens all lined up like soldiers on his dresser. There was not a speck of dust or grime anywhere. And then there was me, always moving outside at the beach with the dog, covered in sand, playing sports, in and out of the pool, dripping hair, helping in the garden, more tomboy pigpen type than neat little girl. Being a slob was a source of great shame and feelings of not good enough, a deficiency. I was so relieved to get to college and out of the house. Much to my amazement, out of the 13 girls in our dorm, 6 were messier than me and 6 were neater. Wow, maybe I was normal. Maybe neatness and getting things perfect were not what made you a nice, good person. This epiphany had me question everything about my parents, their values, their way of life. My parents were pretty racist, but I knew some wonderful black people in school. They were wrong about that too. What's perfect for me might not be perfect for you. Plus, the self-righteous indignation that accompanies the judgment of perfectionism was just plain hurtful. How do people benefit from that? We're all human. Kindness should prevail. Playing tennis taught me a lot. Your worst self can show up with no warning on the tennis court when it's crunch time in a competition. It's much better to smack the tennis ball than to smack people, I discovered. It's a great frustration outlet until you use it against yourself. You can do some real damage. My dad waited until he was 35 to have his first child, and it turned out to be a girl. No matter, girls can play sports. My dad would move me around the tennis court, back and forth on the clay court, until I skidded and skinned up my leg. He felt bad about that. But pushing the limits and achieving perfection became internalized for me. As a young singles player, I made some bad shots. I got by a lot because I was a good athlete and could run everything down. But boy, did I beat myself up. My self-talk was brutal. Who do you think you are, stinking up the court like that? You call yourself a tennis player. Just go home. One day I stopped and I started back talk to my self-talk. Can you imagine my poor little brain? You stink. Oh, stop, I'm doing the best I can. You call yourself a tennis player. Oh, give me a break. Shut up. So today's not one of my better days. How can I change this match? Then my positive, give myself a break self-talk won, and I started complimenting my shots, and I got better. My body didn't get so tight. When I was playing an important match with a doubles partner, I came to sense when we were both getting tight and nervous and started cracking jokes. I became a better player, was winning more, and enjoying it much, much more. Perfectionism is another trap to unhappiness. When is good enough really good enough? Thank heavens I was in my early 20s when I figured this out and hadn't wasted decades on this. A step towards success is authenticity. Am I being congruent between what I believe and how I act in my life? Do I do things to get positive feedback from others or because I actually believe in it? Living a lie of being who you think someone wants you to be is destructive and negates your entire being. Brene Brown's wonderful book, The Gifts of Imperfection, was published in 2010, and she summed it up perfectly. Understanding the difference between healthy striving and perfectionism is critical to laying down the shield and picking up your life. Research shows that perfectionism hampers success. In fact, it's often the path to depression, anxiety, addiction, and life paralysis. Another way to trip over your own feet I discovered was to be happy, and positive. This is perfectionism. I wanted people to think I was spiritually evolved. This is just so impossibly false. To be fully human, you have to experience a full range of emotions. Being human is messy. Always being happy, positive can be a numbing exercise called spiritual bypassing. Spiritual bypassing, the use of spiritual beliefs to avoid dealing with painful feelings, unresolved wounds, and developmental needs, is so pervasive that it largely goes unnoticed. I tried to be non-judgmental for about a year. That was impossible, and I was beating myself up for being a failure. I discovered we need judgment to make sense and order of our world, to decide if someone is friend or foe, or if it's safe where you are. It's more perfectionism. Robert Augustus Masters has written a wonderful book on this. Human beings are not hardwired to be happy day in, day out. Just think of some time when you had no money or were really sick. You adjusted, right? Changed some habits, life went on, and things improved. You made mistakes, you picked yourself up, you got back on the horse. Human beings are adaptable and we're adjustable, but we can adjust to depression too. Just like we can be satisfied and content with our lives and adjust to that. Another trap that I discovered was the achievement trap. I almost fell into that at the age of 35. I'd been a real estate broker for about 6 years. I was just getting my sea legs and feeling confident about my abilities. I was never a great salesperson. I couldn't sell somebody something that I didn't believe in. But I did have a great ability to anticipate questions or objections. I also liked to research things, so I would have to anticipate questions and objections, and so I had every question answered. I was educated as a teacher, and all that training came into play to make up great listing packages and sell properties. I found a great property one time for my client. Camino de la Sierra Apartments, 72 apartments. My commission was huge, $48,000. Wow, was I impressed with myself. So was everyone else in the office. I was a big cheese. The cat's meow. I celebrated with a new watch and a wonderful party with friends. The next day, I woke up depressed, not because of a hangover, as you might imagine, but depressed because I thought to myself, okay, Now, what are you going to do to top that? The light bulb went on in my dim head, so every deal was supposed to top the last one? What if it didn't? Was I a failure then? What a trap. But let's expand on that. How many times have you said to yourself, oh, if my son gets into college, I'll be happy. I want more for him. If I just had more sex in my relationship, I'd be happy. I wish I had more money, then I'd be happy. Or envy is the other side of that coin. You envy someone who has money. Oh, look at him. How can he be in a bad mood? He's rich. All these conditional agreements with the universe take away our power to be happy in each moment. What a trap. Motivated by fear is not being good enough. And what are you missing when you envy what others have? You're missing the present. The past is gone, the future's not arrived, and all we have is a gift of the present. Don't miss it, be present. Another part for me of eliminating perfectionism is letting go of the shoulds. As my friend Marjorie Irway says, you can just should all over yourself. That always makes me laugh, but it's true. How much of my time has been spent doing things for people or organizations because I thought I should, not because I wanted to spend my precious time? Was this making me resentful? I started a self-talk test. Every time I thought I should do something, I would stop and ask myself, why? If I could answer that question, then I moved forward, but otherwise I dropped it. This led to less busyness and less resentment. Perfectionism is rooted in fear of not being good enough, that you are not smart enough, daring enough, that you lose someone dear to you and not be able to handle the grief. People numb out with fear. They get busy instead of confronting their problems. I would always say, oh, I can handle it. And then one time I said that to my cousin, and she said, but why? And I went, oh my God, she's right. Why? Why am I doing this? So what if you got still and let your heart handle it with compassion for yourself and others, to sit with the problem until a solution arises? Maybe you don't have all the information or the answers right now, and that's okay. It's uncomfortable, but it's okay. The courageous, brave thing to do is to confront the fears head on, not back down. The only way through the problem is to go through it and hopefully learn from the process. I was a single working mom, and my schedule was cobbled around Matt's schedule until he went off to college in 2001. 9/11 happened. He was in Hawaii, I was in Arizona. If something happened, I couldn't get to him. That left me rattled to my core. Then my dad died. Then Florence died, who was like a mom to me. Our favorite dog died. I didn't want to pick up the phone. I knew it was going to be bad news. I was adrift and lonely. My heart cracked open at the loss of the people I loved. My head couldn't make sense of it. The journey from my head to my heart pushed on, dragging me along too. Things were getting stale for me in Tucson, and I needed change. I was having a difficult time creating a solid relationship. I found myself wishing my private life could be as successful as my professional one. Something was missing, though. All my self-analysis wasn't getting me to happy or even to content. The next step in the longest journey was a move. Nothing like a change of place to shake things up. I decided to move to Hawaii, just pick up and try it. I moved from Tucson to Hawaii all by myself without really knowing anyone. It happened gradually in 2002, 2003. I put all my stuff in storage, rented my house. Why Hawaii? In 1963, my family spent 2 months in Kailua on Oahu, visiting my mother's best friend and my godmother. I loved it. I went from the beach to the bed to read and the kitchen to eat. I spent my allowance on books on Hawaii, the history, the plants, the trees, the culture. I was 12. I soaked it up. House we rented had plumeria trees. I remember smelling the fragrance of the flowers and thinking that's what heaven must smell like. My love affair with Hawaii continued in my 20s, and when we went yearly to Kauai. One summer, several of us rented a house on Kauai close to Spouting Horn, west of Poipu. This was adjacent to the Atherton Estate, which has now become the nationally renowned Atherton Botanical Garden. I would sneak in there every afternoon around 4 o'clock and try to avoid the gardeners. I took the path along the cliffs overlooking the ocean, peeking my head up to see where they were and avoiding them. It was an extraordinary magical place full of private outdoor rooms, all created with trees, bushes, and flowering, fragrant plants. I was enchanted. Things fell into me very quickly on the Big Island in Kona. A friend of my cousin had a coffee farm with a little apartment I rented. I met a new friend at yoga class who turned out to be a friend of a tennis friend in Tucson. I didn't want to go into real estate anymore. I wanted to try something different. I was offered a job facilitating the committees for the Kona College Chamber of Commerce. I went in the ocean all the time and had great fun playing tennis. I was far from Tucson, where I had lived for 35 years and had deep, long friendships, some of which reached all the way back to high school. I hadn't had to work to make friends in a long time. It was a muscle I had not used. I realized I needed to start reaching out to people. I needed to be open and welcoming and vulnerable to strangers. This was tough stuff. Finding common ground, things you like to do together, asking people to meet you, not taking it personally if they said no. More fear came up around this. I was used to being respected for my accomplishments in Tucson and land conservation and leadership in the environmental community. I had to re-earn this respect in Hawaii. After much analysis, I realized this was again about not being good enough. This leads to the need to be heard, recognized, and get attention. Intellectually, I realized I wasn't perfect, but why did that matter? Did that mean I was unlovable? Maybe I was out of whack. My heart cracked open a bit further as I continued the journey from my head to my heart. I devoured self-help books, which is kind of comical. One of my favorite gurus was Gary Zukov, who said, "Until you can turn and face your own fears, you will be a prisoner of them. Intimacy is trusting that the universe will provide what you need, when you need it, and in the manner most appropriate." I even came up with data. Over the years, I have been fascinated by the Myers-Briggs assessment tests. I was pretty consistently an ENTJ, which means extroverted sensing, thinking, and judging. I wondered why I frequently felt like a duck out of water and realized that less than 1% in the world, women in the world, were ENTJs. Over the years, I had a fascination with this assessment and oddly circled back to retake it about every 5 years. Fast forward 5 years, and Myers-Briggs is starting to be more weighted toward becoming an introvert and a feeling person. Introverted, extroverted was evenly split, and the thinking, feeling part was almost split too. I was making progress on the long 16-inch journey from my head to my heart. How ironic that I would choose to analyze my progress with a measuring tool, head-centered, of course. Also ironic, when stepping back and to observe what was happening with me, I discovered that I had started using different language when talking to close friends and family. Words like heartfelt, heartbroken, accompanied phrases like, "it hurts my heart," and "from the bottom of my heart." I started collecting hearts. Even the language cracked open my heart along my journey. Who's ever in charge has a sense of humor in the lessons we need to learn. I became more vulnerable, more empathetic, and which tends to break your heart sometimes. Lucky for me, I ended up in California where I could get help with my achy, breaky heart. My heart really was broken. I had heart problems. I needed 3 stents to solve the blockages in my hearts. I needed a pacemaker to help keep the rhythm of my heart. I'm waiting to see now if I need a ventricle ablation. Amazingly, the blockages of the heart hadn't shown up in stress tests or echocardiograms. Was this me hiding my emotions? I have always believed that everything happens for a reason, and it certainly seems that the guardian angels were out in full force giving me heartfelt care. Through all these contractions and expansions, I have grown. It's a bit like your beating heart muscle. Nerves hit the heart with an electrical impulse, and it contracts. And when there's no impulse, the heart fills. And I found it was time to bring things back into balance, to balance my head with my heart, to know when the heart should lead and the head should follow, to live a conscious life. The realization was that the balancing never gets fully achieved. It goes on, the great seesaw of life. Maybe your time on earth is finished when you finally get it right. As Maya Angelou said, I learned that whenever I decide something with an open heart, I usually make the right decision. I learned that every day you should reach out and touch someone. People love a warm hug or just a friendly pat on the back. I've learned that I still have a lot to learn. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. I challenge you to take this long journey, the 16 inches from your head to your heart, and see what you learn along the way. It's the work of a lifetime.
Thank you, Debbie. That was beautiful. As we move towards the close of this worship service, let us invoke the spirit, the insights, and the ideals of this morning's service by singing the closing hymn. So please rise in body or spirit. And there is no closing hymn to sing because you can stand or sit. Because the UUFSD band recording is going to come on, and it's a wonderful world. Katie got so nervous there. I saw her going, what? All right, you can sit, and if you want to sing it, What a Wonderful World, you're welcome to at your seat. Sorry.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? Well, they're just saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, I watch them grow. they'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
So I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming, and it is sad that we won't be here for a while now. So I'm just sort of drinking it all in and storing it up in my mind. But you know, I don't know if all of you know that during this time that we haven't been meeting, that Ed Malacher and Betsy and other people have been working really, really hard to get the grounds in order and doing the picnic tables, all kinds of stuff. I mean, Betsy and Ed have been here tirelessly since the whole time we've closed up. So we really need to thank all of them, I think, for keeping it all going. Huge, huge effort and well worth it. Thank you, Ed, Betsy, everybody. So anyway, so I challenge you to take the journey, the 16 inches from your head to your heart. Ram Dass said, to live consciously, you must have the courage to go inside yourself to find out who you really are, to understand that behind all of the masks of individual differences, you are a being of beauty, of love, awareness. When Christ said, the kingdom of heaven is within, he wasn't just putting you on. When Buddha said, each person is the Buddha, he was saying the same thing. Until you can allow your own beauty, your own dignity, your own being, you cannot free another. So if I were giving people one instruction, I would say, work on yourself. Have compassion for yourself. Allow yourself to be beautiful, and all the rest will follow. Marianne Williamson said something similar. Our deepest fear is that we are not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we were powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of the universe. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Thank you.
All right, please join me now in the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. So following this service, Debbie and I will be at the greeting desk that you passed when you entered, and many people may wish to speak briefly with us, but if you prefer, just go around them and walk straight up the path with your mask on and proceed to the patio. So we now invite you to please stay seated and listen to our postlude